everybody. Welcome to Lynbrook TV. My name is Rosemarie Curran, and together I'm here with Deputy Mayor Mike Hawxhurst and Trustee Mike Habert, and we're here to talk about all things Lynbrook. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll just get right into it. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us here.
Thanks for coming by. I know it's the holidays, it's a busy time. Appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us today.
It's a
Sure, of course.
great time of year.
So here we go. Really hard-hitting stuff going on here.
Uh-oh.
We'll,
I hope you gave me the easy one.
No, I know the folks out in Lynbrook want to hear from you guys and what's going on, the status of the village, and visions for the future. So we'll get to it. Why don't we start with just tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been living in the village for 26 years now. Moved here from Queens. I know sometimes Queens is that dreaded word, but moved here with Queens. Had my first two children here in Lynbrook, Sarah and Hannah, and eventually, now got remarried. Have three more children, Hannah, another Hannah, Andrew and Nora. So it's just great. It was drawn here to the village by the different opportunities, and just being in this village and everything it has to offer. So
That seems to be a theme with a lot of folks. They come to this village and then they realize the community that it is. So Mike, tell us about
I'm
it.
on the other end. I was born in Mercy Hospital. I was raised at my house. I bought my parents' house after I was married. I have two kids that I wanted to raise here. One of the things I loved is you can go to the fields or the stores or even be out in town or about, and I run into people who, much like me, they grew up here and they bought here. Even one of my best friends had bought the house across the street, and another one's brother bought the house around the corner. So that's kind of one of those things too, is people get ingrained here and stay here, and much the same reasons as Mike. My wife Kerry is also from Queens, and I moved her out here to show her a better life. and I wanted to raise my children here, James and Mia. They're at the point where they're almost grown, but not yet, and they talk about either moving back here or staying here as well. So that's that means a lot to me.
That's wonderful. I guess what's inspired you to get involved with Lynbrook government?
I've always been interested in, if you know me, I'll talk a lot in social settings about it. And you're always concerned about or want to have a say in how things go in the place you live. And your local government, I feel like it's the greatest conduit between the residents and the services or the government and back and forth. They can approach me or Mike or any of the board members that see us on the street and tell us what they think is going on, what's not working, what is, and that helps us with how to get to the ground to improve how the services go for the village. And it's the local government. It's the most one. It directly affects you in your everyday life.
People forget that.
Yeah.
It's very important to be involved.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the same issues. It's, when I first moved here, I remember, sitting at home one day watching TV. It was a Monday night, and I'm flipping around the channels, and there's a village board meeting. And again, growing up in Queens, you didn't have that. You didn't have that kind of local thing. Mm-hmm. And I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. You really can see what's going on in your village, and you could see the thought processes, what's planned. People can come down there and talk. And started like, okay, one of these meetings on, looked into it, and started watching it, every other Monday at the time. And I remember an issue came up, and I was like, wow, I want to have something to say. And I went down there and spoke at the meeting on an issue that come up. And then it was like, why don't I take the next step? I'm having a family here. I want this place to be the best place for for my family and everyone else, and get involved. And at the time, I became active with our former mayor Bill Hendrick and the expo committee that he ran, and started with that, and then just kind of worked up with helping him out with Breakfast with Santa and different activities. And then the opportunity came, and and talking to him and talking to others, the opportunity came to be part of this. And it was like, what better way to give back to our community? Because as Mike said, this is the opportunity. This is the most impact on your life. This is the most impact of what's going on in your village. And to be able to do that, and to to listen to people, and like Mike said, people approach you in the stores, on the street, they'll call you up, they'll text you, they'll message you, and have an issue, and you can answer them, and you can explain to them why certain things are being done. But being able to provide that service to the residents is what they expect and what they want.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
And you mentioned watching the board meetings was your impetus to become part of the local government here. Everybody takes their own experiences and brings that to work with them in trying to make their community better. What in your background helps you to do your job?
So interesting. My background is finance related. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in taxation. So I've been involved with internal audit at financial firms for the past almost 30 years now, and so that kind of financial background helps me and helps on the board. As we look at things like the budget, as we look at things like how much different programs cost, what are we going to do in this village? So it really helps from that perspective to lend that background and lend that expertise to the board. And as you'll hear from Mike and the other members of the board, each of us has a different background, so we're not all coming from the same perspective. So it works well as we can bounce ideas off each other and discuss things. And it's not all just one of our backgrounds. It's everyone has a different view, a different background for this, so it really helps in making decisions for the village.
So that different background that you have, while he's in the financial side, you're more of the first responder side.
Yes,
which is very important.
I was in law enforcement for 26 years with the police department in the city. I'm still currently with the district attorney's office in Brooklyn as a detective.
Oh, wow.
Most people think I'm retired. I've just done another career.
So you're balancing a lot.
But
All good things.
it's all good things. That way, I'm still involved and I'm still helping people, which is it's one of the things I really enjoy, and it's what I know. One of the things that helps with that background is you're dealing with people in crisis situations. From the time you leave the police academy and you're answering your 911 calls, people are generally not calling for the best of circumstances. So you're showing up and you're helping problem solve, but you're also hearing people when they might be at their lowest. And that has taught me to kind of hear what they're saying, not how they're saying it, because that might be up here through the roof or they're in a panic or anything else, but hear what they're saying. Hear how we get to that solution or how we fix the problem. And that's much what I try to do on the board. And like Mike said, there's a lot of different backgrounds. And sometimes you might come into a discussion with your mind made up or thought that you knew how you wanted to go with something or how it should go. And we have open and in-depth conversations where you're like, hey, I didn't see it that way. Or I might not have thought it, or that's not from my life experience, but you've changed my mind. Or this is a better solution or a better approach. So we have a really good working relationship with that. And that was one of the things getting on the board that I didn't realize I would enjoy as much as I do, is that whole thing.
Yeah, you're new to the board.
Yes.
Only a few years.
About a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
But that perspective, what do you think will be your goal during your tenure?
Even from the beginning is, one, keeping the community safe. Community safety is always a priority, and especially with my background. The other was, the business district and business and commerce. This day and age with brick and mortar retail, it's very difficult. That you can get on your phone on a train, while you're a passenger in an Uber or whatever, and order something up. So it's very hard for the businesses to compete with that. And then you want to do a return, you either put it in your stoop or you drop it off at a store, that a drop box, and that's it. So we work with the chamber, the building department, the different village agencies to try to get businesses in and streamline it and make it easier or make them understand how the best way to go about it is. And even you can see the difference in the downtown district. How many of the storefronts that were empty are now being filled up, and they're being filled up with people with established businesses. They know what they're doing. It's not going to be a fly-by-night place. It's not going to be transient. These people that come here with already established businesses and ideas. So that's a good sign for us. Because if they want to come here when they've already had businesses in other places, that shows that we're an up-and-coming place and a place that people want to be. And it shows downtown.
Yeah, it really does. As a resident, you can see. It's nice to see a renaissance of sorts.
Absolutely.
Here. Now, Mike, you've been on the board for a number of years.
Yeah, going on, it'll be 20 years almost.
20 years.
Yeah.
Time really flies. I guess We'll talk a little bit later about like where you see Lynbrook in the next 10 years. But like right now, what do you see as the village's greatest strengths?
I think, from the greatest strength of the village, it's, a combination of our kind of small town feel of being a village that, neighbors help each other, to being, a close proximity to the city. I mean, used to be 32-minute, now they got rid of the express trains, but, we're a 35, 40-minute train ride to Manhattan. So you have the opportunity to kind of go in there, to see the different activities, to see, you want to go see a play, you want to go see a show, is there a place you want to go out for dinner? You have that, Madison Square Garden, is there if you're, a Ranger or Knick fan or different events. But, it also provides, the opportunity for people who work in Manhattan. It's a relatively easy commute into the city. So, it's all that, but it's really the people here. It's the people of this village that are the strength of our village. Because, you see it and, it's changed over time. It's, people helping out, shoveling the neighbor's snow, people helping out if a neighbor's sick or ill. But, you see it on on social media, somebody puts out there, hey, a family is in need. And the people that jump to help that is what you see and what you want in neighbors and what you want when you're looking to say, hey, do I like living there? Is this what I want for myself and my family? That's what you want, to know that you can count on your neighbors and your neighbors are there for you.
A real sense of community.
Yes. Yep.
And that's what people like about Lynbrook the most, that there is that real sense of community. But it's also important to keep our community safe. So recently, New York State was ranked Lynbrook as the 11th safest community. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, we would always want to be number one, but 11th in the state is not bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, a huge reason for that is one of the few villages in Nassau County or even the state that has their own police department. That's something that, you have the guys out here on patrol. They're working closely with the Nassau County Police Department and other law enforcement agencies, and they're out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they're proactive. They have great leadership. We try to provide them with the best equipment we can, the best training. And the guys are really getting to know them from being on the board. They're really invested in the community. Like they go to the schools. They run, like what Mike was saying, with the different charity events, families in need, especially around this time of year, but all year round. The other things we have is like it seems small, but the 3 to 5 no parking overnight. That gives the guys overnight on patrol. They get to know the cars. They get to know the people in the neighborhood, who should be there, who shouldn't be there. And it also shows that you're out there 24/7. That visual presence. You might have somebody coming through, and that visual presence with that patrol car who's not sitting around in the parking lot, is out there driving through. They see that, it deters them from doing crime, or it might chase them off.
Yeah, and really important too, because when we need those first responders, they respond in a timely and efficient fashion. So we also have heard that Lynbrook has had a drastic reduction in emergency response times. What do you attribute to that?
For the police, the response time, with those calls is unbelievable. But you don't get that. If you don't have your local village police department, you might have to wait for somebody to come from quite a distance. These guys are coming from a short distance, and they're here in a hurry. For our medical response things, the Lynbrook Fire Department, the Ambulance Corps, they've always done a great job. They've always had a great reputation on their response time. The board was proactive. They met with Northwell Health, who also has an ambulance service, and they talked to them about stationing in Lynbrook, which again cuts down, because now they can respond as well as our fire department and ambulance corps, and they respond, which cuts down on the response time even more. The first one on the scene, they're the ones that provide the life-saving services and the treatment. And with that stuff with Northwell Health, that all came at no cost to the village budget, which I thought was genius.
Yeah, it's a home run.
Yes.
Yeah. And back to costs and such, so I'm going to pivot to you now on your finance thing.
Good, he's the money guy.
He's the money guy. All right, Santa, let us know here. It'd be great to get your insight on Lynbrook's recent rating, Moody's rating, AA+. How did we get there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question, because you got to kind of analyze the bond rating as per your own credit rating. So you look at your credit score, whether, your credit score goes up or down, that impacts how, as an individual, getting a car loan, getting a home mortgage, the interest rate you pay on your credit card, it all impacts that. So the higher your credit rating, the better that you do that. And how do you do it as an individual is through your own budgeting, is through your own managing your finance. And we do that the same as a village. When we're looking to pay, when we're looking to do our budget, we start basically at zero. It's not like, okay, what did they have last year? Add 3% and we're good. We're starting at zero. And what does each department need? What is each department, like Trustee Habert mentioned, with the equipping the fire department and the police department and our ambulance corps, what do they need to keep our residents safe and to provide those services to our village? So, we're looking at that. We look to get grants. I mean, we have gotten significant grants in the past year for our police department, for our fire department, with getting Scott packs, the air packs that the fire department wears, getting new cameras from the police department, getting items for our rec center. So, getting those grants in is funds that the village doesn't have to pay. Because, you're looking at, we got, $600,000 from Congressman D'Esposito. We've gotten, hundreds of thousands of dollars from, our state assemblyman Curran. We've gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars from our county legislature Gaylord. And those are improvements we can do in this village without having to spend tax money. But I think, when you look at us, again, it's that idea, we start the budget at zero, and how do we provide these services at the best cost to the village? And again, that gives us, the ability to manage our cash flow, the ability to manage our taxes, and the ability to provide the services that we have.
Yeah, there's a balance that has to be
Yep.
achieved there, because you need to keep those sheets low, those balances low, and then try to keep our taxes low. So,
That's a
Trustee
priority.
Habert there. Lynbrook has a record of keeping taxes low, and they've only exhausted about 61% of its tax limit, and is projecting under 25% of the tax cap this next year. How did the board get there?
That was one of the things. Last year was my first, or earlier this year, the first experience with the budget. I was rolling in a few months. I thought I had things under control. I think I'm starting to get it. And then the budget came. And when I tell you the work that goes into that, into making sure that every department, that the expenses are accounted for, that all services are provided efficiently at as low a cost as we can, the discussions, I was really impressed. And Frank, I jumped right in because I loved it. And Mike is very frugal with the village's money. He impresses me all the time. We also have a long-range capital plan that prioritizes projects and purchases. Again, to go what Mike said, using as much as we can get in grants rather than using local funds. And with that, it keeps the cost to the taxpayer down. Even in a year, or the past couple of years, where inflation has been high at 6.4%, our tax increase was only 2.2%. I mean, only, but that's low.
It's important as a taxpayer to hear that, and not only that we want to keep our taxes low, but we want to make sure we're making the right investment on our taxes. So we see firsthand the investment the village makes in keeping our village beautiful, clean, between tree plantings and yard waste collections and just cleanups through the spring and summer. And now as we approach winter, snow clearing. So how does consistent, dependable public service like the DPW maintain Lynbrook's fine, pristine reputation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, the DPW does a tremendous job. And, people don't always see them out there because they're working overnights or they're working, at different times. But, that's one of the things that helped draw me to the village. And I mean, let's be honest, no one likes paying taxes. We all pay. On the board, we don't get any special exemption. We still pay our property taxes. But, we pay taxes to 4 different entities. You pay to the school, to the village, to the county, and to the town. And the village is about a third, somewhere about a third of your property taxes. But, the services that DPW provides is key to keeping this, village, like you said, clean, keeping the trees. We've been a tree city for over 30 years. We provide free curbside trees to residents. Call up the village, schedule it, and they'll plant a tree for you. The trees get old. There's different, viruses that have gone through the trees. But you want a new one? We're more than happy to plant a new one for you. Again, free to the residents. But again, the DPW does so much. You mentioned the street plowing and having kids. Between my kids and my wife's kids gone through the schools. The biggest complaint I always used to get was they do too good of a job, because the school can't cancel its snow day when there's no snow on the street when they wake up in the morning. So, but these guys who are out there every day who do so much to keep our downtown beautiful. The Christmas decorations. We just saw the area by the tree lighting that they've done. They were out there for 2 days setting that out, getting it cleaned up, getting it ready. But all that they do is the key to this village. Taking care of our parks, taking care of the roads. Everything that they do, reflects upon us as a village. Like when you drive through Lynbrook, that's what you see. You see the roads. Are they in good condition? Are they in bad condition? You see the street lights. You see, the street lights on or off. You see, is there garbage on the streets? No, our garbage is picked up. You have garbage pickup twice a week. You have, recycling pickup. We're doing what we can, and they do a tremendous job to keep this village looking the way it does.
Even further to that, there's a real sense of, there's a higher quality of life here in Lynbrook between the library, the pool, the parks, and the downtown business district. All of this contributes to making Lynbrook a more desirable place to live.
Right.
What do you think?
I think that's true. These improvements have helped put Lynbrook, on the map. Things that we've done, whether, it was the addition to the library a number of years ago, but we have our library that does that. Whether it's the work, at Grice Park, we've done so much at Grice Park with, with the turf field there, with improving the field at Ocean Avenue, improving the park, Lawson Park, improving the pocket parks. I mean, Grice Park's been around since 1956. So it's something that, we look at and, we say, what do families want when they come to this village? Is they want those facilities and, for their kids to enjoy it. And it's something we constantly look at.
And seniors too, you've done a lot for that. But
Yep.
I read that there was about 70 new programs at Grice Park for kids and for seniors too.
Yeah, the programs have been great. I mean, we hired about a year and a half ago, we hired a new recreation director, Antonia, and she's been tremendous down there with the programs she bring in. The dance program that they've constantly expanded, we go down to the, dance recital they have every year. And, to see the amount of kids involved in this program, the quality of dance that they do, and then also the amount of parents who are there and who love it, and kids year after year. But, again, the seniors, it's, you can't just focus, we don't just focus on one group without, it's a holistic approach, like, providing the senior club and different activities. They were just out to, a local restaurant for their holiday meal. They take a trip to the, to the aqueduct for the casino. To different items that they do to enjoy, and, getting them out, and, whether it's providing the service where, the bus goes around and picks them up to do food shopping. People, seniors struggle maybe with getting out to the supermarket or getting these things. Or, what we've seen, and, Trustee Habert's very involved in, is things like the community cares. Going out there and providing, having a senior call and say, I need help with this. I need help with snow shoveling or raking leaves, and providing those services. But, it's looking at, what do people want in this village? And, like I said, Grice Park is a centerpiece of it. And, all I'll tell you to people is keep an eye out. We have huge plans coming up for Grice Park and the other parks in this village in the next year that this board is working on.
So Trustee Habert.
That's a lot to follow.
Yeah. So further to that, how would you ensure that the village remains a place that's desirable and attractive to new residents?
We have to keep it, make sure that Lynbrook's the place where young families want to move to, and as well as older residents and established residents wanting to stay here.
Yeah.
We have to do that by continue with a wide range of community events and programs, much like Mike said. Antonio's great hire, and every board meeting there seems to be more programs that come up to be added, and more things. And to go back with the tree lighting the other night, as Mike had said, the dancers from the rec center there, along with one of our local dance studios. But I watched the difference between the dancers from the rec center program this year to last year, and it knocked my socks off. And they're really vested. And then that brings all the families out. So now you have the whole plaza, the square. Everybody's out there. There's a huge crowd. Everybody's smiling and happy. And then some of our characters, Santa came, the Grinch, things like that. But along with the established and with the older residents, the senior program down at Grice Park and the bus trips and everything else. That goes back to the community, the feeling of community. And Mike mentioned the Lynbrook Cares. When I started, we were just doing the snow. Now it's kind of expanded where seniors will call for things that we take for advantage. It might be changing a light bulb, fixing a hinge on a cabinet, all sorts of little things that when you go there and then you see, you're like, wow, this is really something. And one of the things we've tried to do with that as well is get the young people involved, trying to get high school age people to get involved in that volunteering and giving back. And that fosters a sense of community, not only among them, because it makes you feel better, you accomplish and you help somebody, but it shows everybody else out there, this is what we're about. And that's why people view Lynbrook as they do. People always come here, even guys I work with or relatives have moved away, they come here and like, wow, you guys have done a really great job. That this is a place I want to live. And that's the feeling we have to keep.
Yeah, and nobody, when they go through our village, nobody wants to see an eyesore.
No.
Or anything that's becoming decrepit. So do you think, further to that, that the village is going in the right direction in promoting the reuse of substandard commercial buildings?
I do. Lynbrook it's a long history. It was originally a farming community, and around the time of the Civil War, then it became more like they started like the commerce and business, and that started down by the Five Corners. Everybody knows the Five Corners, and it flourished out from there and expanded. Post-World War II, there was a boom in population. Shortly after, quickly after World War II, the population of Lynbrook tripled. With the expansion of the population, the commercial uses flourished. And since that time, the commercial sprawl buildings became unkept, and there was mismatched zoning with zoning districts and residential areas. To preserve Lynbrook's kind of suburban character and the character that small town feel, we're looking to target these inconsistent uses to make them more compatible for Lynbrook and that, like I said, that suburban feel. Some of the things we've done is we've outlawed places that tattoo parlors, cannabis shops, and concrete front yards, things that are not within the character of our neighborhood, and that we don't want. We don't want to change the character. Some of the things with the buildings is we issued RFPs for development of the Feather Factory that had sat abandoned on Broadway for years. That was an eyesore. The Capri Hotel. Everybody, I don't even need to say, or what I want to say, I probably shouldn't say on Lynbrook TV. But we're able to get rid of that and have high-end housing over there now. So there's a lot of good work that has been done. But there's some other places that are around that kind of stunt what we're trying to do with the downtown. They're eyesores or almost like blight. And they're a hindrance to pedestrian traffic, to small business growth downtown, and to opening businesses or having places that are desirable, that we want to patronize and have people come and patronize.
Do you see this as like the real challenge facing the village?
That is a real challenge because it's a delicate balance. You don't want to fall behind. You don't want to have these things because it's almost contagious. A storefront or a building, then it just gets worse when it's unoccupied or if they leave it that way. But to overdevelop, that's a hard part too. So it's a delicate balance that the board is constantly discussing and constantly thinking of the best ways or how to approach these things.
Are there any other challenges out there? That's a big one.
Yes. Obviously, with most Long Island places or in the tri-state area, the cost of taxing, the cost of living, that's an issue for everyone. I'm sure it is for myself, for Mike, the other members of the board. So we're not immune to what the people feel in the village.
So how do you see things going over the next 10 years, so to speak, with that?
We need to continue to develop our business districts and the downtown amenities. Make it a vibrant destination that people want to come to. Not only just live here, but also want to use their spending power here or patronize our businesses or make it a place to be. But we also want to keep our residential, the beautiful, the historic residential areas that contain a wide variety of architectural styles in the houses.
Yeah.
The variety, it's not cookie cutters. The way we do this is through strategic planning for the business district, but also enforcing our village codes to ensure that the residential neighborhoods retain their character.
And I think that's and that what makes Lynbrook uniquely Lynbrook.
Yes.
For all the things that we discussed today, you know, Lynbrook is unique, and we want to keep Lynbrook unique.
Yes.
And we want to keep Lynbrook Lynbrook. So we appreciate the work that you guys do day in and day out to make Lynbrook the great place it is to live, work, and play. So appreciative of that. Now, just the biggest hard-hitting question. Ready?
Those weren't the hard-hitting ones?
No, it's going to get worse now. Podcasts, or what are you streaming? What are you listening to?
So I think podcasts are interesting. I'm kind of like all over the place, but the latest one I've been listening to has been Star Talks with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's about like astronomy and astrophysics and those kind of topics. So it's been kind of interesting and something off the beaten path. But with all the you see with the new exploration of the moon and Mars, it's very interesting on kind of what's going on in space, and it's just different.
Any insights on drones? No.
I mean, we have gotten some complaints about drones over Lynbrook, but I think for now it's let's wait and see what's going on with that. We haven't had any issues, we haven't had any problems. We'll see what it is and everything. And we do have our police in the event
Yes.
of anything. I think for streaming, I just finished watching The Diplomat season 2.
Oh yeah.
So great show, interesting. The problem with streaming is, we watch season 1 and then season 2 comes out, like I think it came out on October 31st. 6 episodes. We watch all 6 episodes in 2 nights. Now it's like, okay, we got to wait another year for season 3. And then we just started watching The Lincoln Lawyer. So again, we watched the first 2 seasons 1 to season 3. And again, something different. It's all kind of like that SUV, CSI, but from the attorney point of view, crime victims. So very interesting shows.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a big podcast guy, but
No.
streaming, I like a lot of the stuff the guy Taylor Sheridan from Yellowstone.
Yeah.
He's now got a show, Lioness. It's about a CIA, and they insert like a female operative in to get their target.
Is that with Nicole Kidman?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay.
really good. And there's another show, The Agency, that we just started watching. But much like Mike says, you binge watch, and all of a sudden, I think everybody can relate to this. When you're done, you have this empty feeling, like, now what? Now what do I do? I'm a big sports guy, and right now, the Jets changed the plot. Usually their weekly beating they didn't do this week. So, but free agency in the off season for the baseball.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
We'll discuss.
We were unhappy with something.
I know. Well,
But I don't know. I know. But I don't want to alienate half of
I know.
our constituents.
Everybody, Yankee fan, Met fan, we're all together. here.
House is divided
The
sometimes.
house is divided. So, and just concluding, start with you because you've been a lifelong resident of Lynbrook. What's your fondest memory?
I have so many fond memories, but my fondest are raising my kids here and watching them playing on some of the same fields, the same gyms, and coaching them and other kids in the neighborhood. That always brought me it's not just one fond memory, because I'll even see kids that I coached, and you know, hey coach, and that it just brings back so many things. Lynbrook, go back to what I said in the beginning. It has so many fond memories that just they come back to me every time I go in and I start talking with somebody that I see from my childhood, and then even talking to the new, not that they're new families, but families are now that becoming established here, and hearing how much they love about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do 180 on you. What's your worst
Ooh,
memory?
thank I got.
I mean that's tough because there are so many good things that happen to you as a family and everything. Probably the worst in Lynbrook has been just in the beginning of COVID when my mom passed away. So getting that call that she had passed, and then having to tell my kids or grandchildren, who this was their first kind of close family member who passed away, but having to tell them that. But again, you lean back on the community and the people here, when they hear, to assist you and be there for you and help you out. So you have these things that are tough and everything, but you have the people in Lynbrook here to help you.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
That's it. Like we've said, it's really all about the community, and keeping that community in every decision we make.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our time is up. Appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us, and I hope we have the opportunity to do it again soon.
Anytime.
Thanks,
Definitely.
guys. Take care.
Bye bye.